Hey, Forest Park, I'm Jason Monahan, and I'm coming to you from my kitchen. On Tuesday evening, I'm doing the devotion for tomorrow morning, or you guys will get this tomorrow morning on Wednesday, the third day in our 21 days of prayer and fasting. And I'm curious to know how everybody's doing. Have you cheated yet? Have you not started yet? Are you going great with it? Are you confused by it? I'm sure you can send an email to the church, or you can post on the Facebook. I'd love to see what different people are, what their journey is like. I have been confused for a long time about prayer and fasting. I fast, believe it or not, contrary to the size of my love handles. I fast a lot. So going without food isn't hard for me, but I didn't really fully understand how it factored into praying and what the purpose of it was. For a long time. I didn't really know. I saw it as kind of begging God or trying to manipulate him. I didn't mean to, but that's kind of what it came to. And what I want to talk to you about this morning is a journey that I went on where I learned a lot about, for myself anyway, prayer and fasting in the context of being hard-hearted. The devotion they gave me to share with you this morning was from Hebrews 3, 7 through 15, but I'm actually not going to read that scripture for you. It could, if you take it out of context, which just reading a snippet like that is kind of out of context. If you're a newer Christian or you're not familiar with the book of Hebrews in the specific context that was being read in, it could make God come across like an angry tyrant who just wants you to basically beg him to, do whatever he says and make him happy, which is kind of the opposite of what I think prayer and fasting is. That's not what that scripture means, but again, if it's taken out of context, you don't really know at all. It sounds kind of strange, but hard-heartedness is something that is very dangerous in your walk with God. But even those words, we don't talk about hard-heartedness in today's. We use words like resentment or bitterness when we talk about it, and that is something that I have a lot of experience with. When Lori and I first got married, the first couple of years, we really struggled with infertility, actually for a lot of years. But we had multiple miscarriages, and we went to all kinds of different fertility doctors, and we spent a ton of money. We refinanced the house twice to do all these expensive procedures, and over a course of 8 or 9 years, we struggled with infertility. And through that time, prayer became really difficult for me. I felt like I was doing everything right. And although intellectually I knew that a relationship with God was not a transactional one, it was a relationship. It wasn't, I'm doing everything right, you owe me a child kind of a thing. I knew that in my head, but in my heart, it was a different story. I prayed, and my wife prayed, and we prayed together, and I did all kinds of things that I thought I was supposed to do, including fasting, and God would not give us a child. And I became hard-hearted. I became resentful towards God, and I define that word is, when I looked it up to look up the definition, it said anger or disappointment over being treated unfairly. And although that's kind of how I felt, I think that resentment and bitterness goes beyond that, beyond just anger or disappointment. And I define it as when you get to the point in your relationship when you say, I'm done with you. And I had gotten to the place where I was saying that to God. I said, I'm not praying to you anymore. I'm not going to fast. I'm not going to do anything. You're going to do what you're going to do anyway. If you want to give us a child, you could. You're not going to. So I'm done with you. I wasn't done with my relationship, but I just didn't see the point in praying in that context, because I didn't do it on purpose, but in a sense, I was trying to manipulate God. I was just begging him, treating God like Santa Claus and saying, please give me this. This is what I want. I've done everything right. Give it to me. And I stopped praying, and it was a really tough time for my wife and for myself, because I had kind of turned my back on God. And long story short, he did give us a child. He gave us a beautiful baby boy. And it wasn't because I prayed or because I fasted that he did that. He did that because, the truth is, I don't know why. I don't have this testimony where, I was drinking and then I quit and God gave us a child. And, I don't have that. I'm not really sure why we had to go through that. But after being a father now for 11 years, I understand the heart of a father more. And I understand that, have a better understanding of how much he loves me and how much he loves you. And as a father, he wants what is best for us, and he's going to do that. And there are times that, just like I didn't understand why it couldn't happen right then, he can't always give us what we want when we want it. I learned that when I had children. Just like sometimes gets very frustrated with me when I can't say yes to everything he wants. But I understand now that I, even as an imperfect father, am trying to do what is best for him. And although he doesn't understand it, it doesn't mean that I don't love him and I'm not trying to do what's best for him. And my recommendation to you as far as prayer and fasting is, don't look at it as something to do to manipulate God. That if you really want something, you'll pray and you'll fast for it. But the whole point of fasting is to kind of disconnect from the distractions, just like we're going to do this weekend. We had a crazy holiday. We didn't really get to spend the quality time that we wanted. Everybody was sick. So we're going to disconnect and we're going to go to Williamsburg and we're going to spend some quality family time together. And we're going to fast from video games and those kind of things. We're not thinking about it that way, but that's what we're doing. We're disconnecting from that and we're going to spend some quality time. And really all fasting is disconnecting from some of the distractions that keep you from spending quality time with God. And that's all prayer really is. At least it's certainly a big part of it, is spending quality time with God. And another recommendation I would make is sometimes when you pray, don't say anything. God knows what you feel like. And if you need to get it off your chest and you need to tell him that, then absolutely do it. But some of the most intimate times that I've ever had with God are when I just laid on the bed, exhausted, and just said, God, you're going to have to do all the talking. And I just shut up and was silent for as long as I could take it. And there were times when he would talk to me. I didn't hear anything audibly, but thoughts were popping into my head, and it was in a voice, not a voice, it was just my voice in my head, but I could tell that it wasn't the kind of thoughts that I normally have. And I received great clarity and great comfort and great peace, sometimes from just sitting and listening to him. So I hope that encourages you as you try to go through this. Again, don't let it be a burden to you. This is really a gift. You could have some amazing intimate times with God if you're just willing to set a few things aside, disconnect from the distractions that keep us so busy, and spend some time, some quality time with him, pouring your heart out, or maybe just listening to him pour his heart out to you. Hope you have a great week and the rest of your time in your devotion.